Let me give you an example of the mindset. For instance, you're supposed to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, just as what has happened to me. If I knew I was coming here, I would have started the journey by 4 to make sure I get here exactly 6. In Ghana here, when they say 8 o'clock, it's 10. 10. So 2 hours late, I call 2 hours, productive hours that you've lost for the 8 hours that you are going to work. So anybody whose 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock will definitely make more money than a person whose, or an entrepreneur whose 8 o'clock is 10. So if your 8 a.m. is 8 a.m., at least you'll be able to do 2 hours before the Ghanaian time age, which is 10.
Adafuna has said to me that tribe, so honorable Kennedy, Japan, or copium, annual conference, be a course, so it's only you to know air casa, afa entrepreneurship, Jimiko, Amatudin said jobs for all. And no, and I honorable Kennedy, Japan, or copium, or high, so only you to know air casa, or quite on the faso, I Juma, a Dianeska, say, or the even I about your own a faton, say, honor no mutia by Aris, since you was want to make us say, oh, yeah, Juma Bacope. At least as a youth know, say when you be away, we have say 8 hours, we have 4 hours, or yeah, say 2 hours. In and out the bubble is coming. So raining summer a year, honorable can the Japan 2 dry say, oh, address you to know, quite on the fast so I Juma I did SCSK. Now, according to a year Ghana web, how much shall say a presidential aspirant on the ticket of the new patriotic party, Kennedy Japan addresses the youth at the 2023 annual conference on innovations and entrepreneurship summit. The initiative, known as the Entrepreneurship Jobs for All Summit, is being held at the Accra North Legon, Accra, under the theme Entrepreneurship and Innovations, the key to sustainable and decent jobs and wealth creation. And I gonna be there tour, say air conference, candy eco pim why so they same for be a 2 youths in the American saying some candy at the 2 jar.
Lost. I had to make a U-turn again. Even the GPS took us to another place instead of coming straight. But after the park, the next building is mine. So it's very easy if I had known where I was coming. So kindly forgive me, it wasn't deliberate. Again, I just came back from America this afternoon. And when I was there, I had a call that there will be a program for you at 6. And honestly, when I got here, the information I have is simply different from what was given to me. But as an entrepreneur, I will always attempt to do the right thing to encourage the youth. Thank you. Your Excellency, my professor, Adair, dignitaries, invited guests, students, and friends. Good evening to you all. I'm honored to have been invited to share my thoughts this august body. Tonight, I will introduce to you the subject. And first, before I do that, I want to quote George Henry, an English economist, who said, and I quote, "The man who gives me employment, which I must have or suffer, that man is my master. Let me call him what I will," unquote. I want to do that again to the incoming entrepreneurs. It says, "The man who gives me employment, which I must have or suffer, that man is my master. Let me call him what I will." By English economist George Henry. First of all, those of us here, I know I have my professor here, so if I don't give accurate information, I'll be marked 0. I want to give you the definition of entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. I've seen your work and everything when I was climbing up. And I know what you intend to do. But I personally believe that entrepreneur, I'm not taking it only from the book. I'm also taking it from the street and experience. An entrepreneur is the one who creates ideas. The one who creates ideas and takes risk to combine his ideas and other factors of production for business and services at a profit. Again, I quote, entrepreneur is the person who creates ideas and takes risk to combine his ideas and other factors of production for business and services at a profit. However, there are social entrepreneurs whose sole aim is to make changes in society without a desire for profit. Example is the olden days Florence Nightingale, a nurse. She sacrificed her life to make changes. We have such people who are also entrepreneurs. It is not only, or they are not motivated by only profit, but the sacrifices they give, the inventions they come up with to make social changes also make them entrepreneurs, and we call them social entrepreneurs. We have serial entrepreneurs. We have lifestyle entrepreneurs. The serial and lifestyle entrepreneurs, their sole aim is to make money. Their sole aim is to make money. And now, I will limit myself to 3 areas of entrepreneurs. We have the creator, we have the builder, and we have the operator. The creator is the one who creates the ideas. He fantasizes ideas, come up with it, and sometimes they need the builders. For instance, I have been talking about building a World Trade Center, center of the world hotel right in the middle of the sea in Temple. I have visualized it, but to put it on paper, I would need a builder. And a builder, for instance, an architect, who will put my dreams that I've visualized on paper to become reality. So we have the builders who are also entrepreneurs. Then we have operators. After all this, you need people to buy into your idea. And these operators, you can call them the businessmen. The businessmen, they come out there, they see what you've done, they decide to take advantage of it and make money. So they are also operators. But I want to share my personal experience with you, since you are yearning to become entrepreneurs. In this country, I know you've learned a lot in the classrooms, but I'm certain that there's one thing missing. What is missing? For you to succeed as an entrepreneur, the first thing you need to know in this country is changing of the mindset. If you change your mindset and you do things differently, the way we conduct our businesses, if you do it differently, you'll be an outstanding entrepreneur. Let me give you an example of the mindset. For instance, you're supposed to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. just as what has happened to me. If I knew I was coming here, I would have started the journey by 4 to make sure I get here exactly 6. In Ghana here, when they say 8 o'clock, it's 10. 10. So 2 hours late, I call 2 hours, productive hours that you've lost for the 8 hours that you are going to work. So anybody whose 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock will definitely make more money than a person whose, or an entrepreneur whose 8 o'clock is 10. So if your 8 a.m. is 8 a.m., at least you'll be able to do 2 hours before the Ghanaian time age, which is 10. Again, the culture, the mindset comes with culture. The culture simply means you have hired about 4 or 5 workers. Some are going contrary to your rules, that you need to let them go. And the word is fire. You need to fire them. In this country, even when a person is caught that he's stolen an item from you and you need to fire him, then you have pastors coming into bed, chiefs coming into bed, politicians, your own business. When you fire somebody, politicians will call you to threaten you. These kind of cultures, if you succumb to it, you will not succeed. What I'm telling you here, you will not get it in the classroom because it's our culture and our mindset. Whatever you learn, nobody tells you that when somebody makes a mistake or steal from you, you have to fire him and the pastor will not come and beg. You will not get all these things. You get all these things from personal experiences. So if you want to succeed in life, let your yes be yes and no be no. Make sure whatever business you are conducting, you apply all the business principles without favors. If you don't apply all business principles and you tend to do favors, I'm afraid you are just going to be one of them. I think most of you know me, and if those who don't know me have heard about me. Yeah, they always talk about Kenneth Japan because I do things differently. What I do differently is I make sure I apply business principles and no favors rendered to anybody. When it comes to business, no favors. But in my lifestyle, when I have made the money, the profit you can call, then I can do favors. When you're going to start your business, I'm advising you, even if, and young men and women here, listen carefully if you want to succeed. Even if you are traveling, just as I'm coming from America, and you meet a businessman who is called Jesus that we all don't know and we are worshiping. And that Jesus Christ tells you that he knows Ghana. Don't believe in him again. Because the businessman who knows Ghana has been definitely corrupted. So make sure you apply all your business principles to protect your interests. Because those who deceive you, those who collapse your business, will come in the form of Christ. They look so calm, nice, decent. You give them a chance and see. They will collapse your business completely. So make sure whatever you are doing, you go step by step. What is applicable, you let it go. If it is not, you take it aside. If not, here, they will collapse your business. 2, the culture again. If you are going to set up a business, make it a point not to employ relatives. Make it a point not to employ relatives. Your sister, your brother, your mother. Set them aside. Run your business. And when you make the money, take care of them. But if you set up the business and allow your relatives to manage it, I'm afraid the time will come that the whole family will gang up against you because they think you have the money and you don't want to share with the rest. So if you can, and you should, make sure you set aside your family and grow the business. It is very, very important. These are all part of the mindset and the culture that I'm talking about. But let me share my personal experience, my life experiences with you. When you see Ken, it symbolizes hope. When you see Ken, it means you wake up to hope. Because I was born and bred in a poor home where there was no hope. But I challenged myself and said to myself that one day I'm going to be somebody. And today I'm here with you. The young ones who want to be entrepreneurs and businessmen, you should first have a dream. Have a dream. And no myopic dreams. You shouldn't be a myopic thinker. Think big and begin to do things big. You should always challenge yourself. Fortunately, I have the dignitaries here, My Excellency. What they have done in Canada, trust me, Ghanaians who are there and comply with the systems are doing wonders. So challenge yourself that you can also be one of them. And sky should be your limit. You should always say to yourself, what any man has done on earth, I can do it too. And it's possible. This is how you begin to be a businessman. Look, when people are sleeping for 8 hours, 12 hours, I only sleep about 4 hours. I'll be looking at the ceiling and planning what I'm going to do the next day, the new business that I'm going to create. So all I'm saying is, if you want to be successful in life as a businessman or entrepreneur, you should always put in more hours than regular hours that we normally do. That is the only way you can make it. I'll give you a typical example. I was a taxi driver in New York. But even before being a taxi driver, I was working at a bakery and a gas station at the same time. In a week, I'm able to do 88 hours. Whereas those who had green card and American passports were working for 40 hours. 40 hours, they were making $250 a week, and I was making about $400. You see, because I put in more hours. So, if indeed you want to succeed in life and be a good entrepreneur, you have to sacrifice. Sacrifice, especially time. It is very, very important. And let me take you through this. First, Ghana here, it is very difficult to get capital. So how are you going to get capital? You cannot go to your brother and say that you have a vision, or you've thought of something you want to do, and therefore it should give you money. About 80% of your approach, you will not get results, because nobody will give you that. So whatever you are doing now, if you are working, you should begin to save. So you should have ability to save. If you have ability to save, no matter how small your income is, Make sure if you are not married, for instance, you save about 60% of your income. You should live with your parents so that you avoid rent. And the rent alone, if you set it aside as savings, you see how much you accumulate. This is the beginning of raising capital yourself. So you need to save. You have the ability to save to raise capital. Again, not only raising the capital, but you should have confidence in whatever dream you have. You should have confidence that it is possible. I'll be able to do it. I'm going to do it. And when you have this confidence, your savings, you begin to invest. Buying a couple of machines and starting your business small and growing it. If you start big, it depends on your capital. Sometimes, without experience, you might lose most of your investment. So you need to start small and grow the business. Again, perseverance. Perseverance, you will not get it from any of the books. Why? Because in Africa and Ghana, what we should bear in mind is, as any business, there will be challenges. Unfortunately for us in this country, when there are challenges, we attribute it to spiritualism. Then they begin to go and see a pastor to pray for them. They go and see Malam to pray for them. They go and accuse their grandmothers and grandfathers. You are the cause of my failure. All sorts of things. What you should bear in mind is, there is no smooth road anywhere. Whatever business you are going to start, there will be winding curves that you need to straighten it up yourself. And these are the challenges that you'll be confronted with. When it happens like that, don't attribute you to your grandmother at home. Don't go and consult a pastor, a malam, juju man. Sit down and ask, what have I done wrong? What do I need to do to grow my business? Sometimes you set up a shop, especially the women. When they set up a shop, they leave it to their shop girls. And by 12, they are still at home thinking the shop girls will do the right thing. First, the shop girls, even if she's not going to steal, her attitude towards customers is a put-off. Her attitude towards customers is a put-off. Because she doesn't know your struggle, how much you have spent or invested in the business. And all he knows is, at the end of the month, he will be paid or should be paid. So he doesn't care whether they buy it or not. Sometimes customers approach them and they frown their faces. Meanwhile, you know how much money you've invested in the business. So when you see a customer coming in, you approach him or her with a smile. That alone always influences their decision to come back to your shop, because they will say that, oh, this woman is very affable. But most of the women call themselves madam. They stay home till 12 p.m. before they go to their work. And when your business collapses, you go and consult a pastor. You go and consult a malam. I'm afraid that won't work. So if you want to grow the business, pay attention to it. Commit yourself that, look, this is where I make my money, and I'm going to make sure the business succeeds. So perseverance, no matter the situation, you have to strike hard when the iron is hot. And trust me, there will be reward from your perseverance. You are insisting that, look, I'm going to make it definitely. And nobody out there is going to make it for you, except you that have dreamt of what you want to become in future. Again, hard work. You have to be hard work. Example I gave earlier that, those who work for 8 hours, you can choose to work 12 to 16 hours. 12 to 16 hours. The one who makes about 200 for 8 hours, if you put in more hours, you will make about 300. It means you have extra income of 100. That alone gives you a stronger purchasing power over others. And that purchasing power, the extra, can be your savings. And gradually, you accumulate enough and make sure that, you plow it back into the business. So hard work, hard work, hard work. Don't just go, even if you are working for somebody, try and look for 2 jobs. 8 hours here, 4 hours there. 8 hours income will take care of your bills and everything. And the 4 hours will be your savings. This is how, you begin to save, accumulate capital, and invest in business. Again, you have to be disciplined. Discipline in this country. If you are not disciplined in your business, you're going to lose. Discipline meaning some businessmen, when they see the money coming, they go to the coffers, take the money, they dip their hands into it, go and spend it elsewhere without thinking of the capital that they put in and the margins that they make out of it. All they see is money is coming. Then they begin to spend. If you don't restrict yourself, that is what I mean by discipline. You have to discipline yourself and make sure you control your expenditure. Some people begin to make money, and instead of plowing back the money into their business, they begin to buy luxury cars, luxury items for people to see that, yes, they have also arrived. You arrive temporarily, not permanently. Because what you could have put or invested to expand or grow the business, you use it in buying expensive cars, expensive clothes, the women and their bags, Chanel. And Chanel alone, about $4,000 or $5,000, you could plow it back into the business. Until such a time that you grow the business and you know that even if I take 5,000 out of it, it will not affect the business. So you have to be disciplined. And with that, if you are disciplined, hard work, perseverance, confidence, ability to save money, and your dream, you will definitely be a successful entrepreneur. Your time management. I've said you need to manage your time. Whatever you're going to do in business, you should always have a time there for you. You should know what you want to do. If not, your time is of essence to every venture you want to enter into. And therefore, I entreat each and every one here, the young men and women who wants to be entrepreneurs, to know that indeed it is possible. If it has happened to Kenya Japan, you should have confidence that it can be you too. But the road is not going to be smooth. There will be curves, but you should have patience and focus. You should always stay focused and do things differently from the way Ghanaians do their businesses. Now, these days, I'm vying to be a presidential candidate, and therefore some advice I'm not able to give you. If not, I'll be blunt as a businessman to tell you. And maybe let me try and frame the words and see if I can advise you. You know, I have always said to myself, a society with a bunch of ignorance society with a bunch of ignorance, the few wise men succeed. Be among the few wise men. I repeat, a society with a bunch of ignorance. Be among a few wise men to succeed. And carry the ignorant along. And some of their ignorance will emulate you and change. Some of the ignorance will emulate you and change. Because you have a lot of ignorant workers, take advantage of that. Because if all of us are smart like Canadians, you have it tough. So you take advantage and change the people. And that when I first came to America, that is how I behaved. I didn't let that impede whatever vision I had. I just challenged myself that, look, I'll carry these ignorance along. And some of them will emulate me and change. And I've done exactly that. Some have changed, they own their own businesses, and now that I'm campaigning, they are also helping. So it is possible. So if you are not writing, now write the points down. You know, when I was coming, I landed around 2. And I was trying to jot something down. Then my son and my nephew said, oh, we have your 10 cardinal points. I said, oh yeah? I said, yes. Apparently they came to me in 2016 and they were asking for money. And I gave them the 10. They listed it. You'll be surprised that a medical doctor, he called the wife to look at the bedside. On top of it, he has it there, pasted. So he called the wife, and the wife took a picture and sent it to him. Apparently, they took the advice. My son and my nephew, they all have that. 10. I did not give them physical cash, but I gave them this 10 points. And surprisingly, they took my advice and they are doing very well. So I know it might be tough, difficult. Even if you're coming from a poor home and you're a graduate, you have a vision. All you have to do is take any job. Take any job. Don't say that I'm a graduate and therefore I'm not good. Because these same graduates, when they go outside, they do menial jobs just to survive. You can do same here because you know what you want to do. And trust me, sky will be the limit. So I'm entreating young ones coming up who wants to be entrepreneurs to take their destiny into their own hands and stop believing in spiritualism and all those things. This kind of belief is impeding progress in Africa and especially Ghana. Again, if you want to succeed in life, never depend on government for your survival. Never depend on government for your survival. Because the pie is this big. 32 million people. Everybody wants a piece of this pie. How much are you going to get? So reliant on government, I know this. Government is not doing this. I know government has to create opportunities. Let the systems work and create opportunities so that you can take advantage. But don't think the government is going to put food on your table all every day. You have to create it yourself. Take advantage of the system and be creative. Create ideas. And if you spend time thinking through what can be done, trust me, you'll be a better citizen than others. So I want to encourage you. I will end here. I don't want to bore you too much. And I'll give my number. Anybody who wants ideas how to start up a business, my door is open. Anytime you come, I will share my ideas with you, and what is applicable to you, then you take it. So I want to say a big thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the phone in some honorable Kennedy Japan or address you to concerning entrepreneurship. I didn't say jobs for all and I could see Abano. Make our full media films and IT service at the amount. Sell what honors when it is in the child media house and make them just in a media films. Or much as in a operate air camera and journalism experience and some animations. Or may events coverage, blog and live streaming, YouTube video intro, much as also a printed design, birthday cards, engagement cards, business cards, furniture, media items, some management and farmer. But as well, to be a could be a can be a fabric name of and farmer. So we will also be a would you make amount for and she then at the coupons our year home. And inside the middle or the mouth for number and penny French in Como, near Bojuman and farmer. The Abraham customer source several follow channel all social media platforms, so Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. It was also a share beam, the media tribe, the voice of the people.